Hey, everybody, welcome to What's Up Wednesday. In the last What's Up Wednesday, I talked a little bit about making course corrections to create a habit, whatever that habit may be, to kind of change the trajectory of your life. Again, health as an example, outlook, um, how you interact with people, all really good examples. And this week, I want to maybe take it a little bit deeper and address what it might look like from the outside. So somebody looking at you, observing your life, your actions, your behaviors, how you carry about your daily life, sitting down and basically giving you an evaluation. So here's the question for you. If somebody observed your actions for a week, what would they think that your priorities are? That's a big question. And sometimes it's really hard for us to be able to consider or even kind of comprehend how somebody else may interpret us. And I think one thing that's really common is that the way that we present ourselves and the way that others perceive the way that we present ourselves are often very different. And I think that, being intentional in our approach and our behavior can be really, really challenging because humans have a tendency of, I want to say human tendency is complacency. And what I mean by that is humans try to make their environment manageable. We try to make everything easier. We are masters of our environment. That's why we're the most dominant species on the planet. But ultimately, um, when we look at those priorities and how other people interpret us, they're often kind of two different types of priorities. They're the priorities that we talk about, the priorities that we say we have, and then there's the reality of our actions. And I think we can all relate to somebody, talking a big game. This is who I am. This is how I look at life. This is what I do. But we all know that their actions really define who they are and determine whether they are that person or they're not that person. And these are really, really hard things for us to be able to inwardly reflect because they affect our ego. And I think everybody has an ego at a varying level, some much more than others. Some are very, very humble, have a high level of humility. But either way, we all have an ego, excuse me. And I think that, egos can be very fragile, and taking criticism can be very, very difficult from other people. And it can even be difficult when we're imposing that criticism upon ourselves. But, when we're living life as the main character in our story, which we do on a daily basis, um, it can be really hard to hold ourselves accountable. We can find a million excuses and reasons why we do something the way we do it, or why we say the things that we say or act the way that we act. And and I think the value in an unbiased third party is that, if you were to ask them to observe you for a week and give you a report and tell you what they think your priorities are based on that, I think it would be a wake-up call. I think you would get a very different perspective than what you see in yourself on a daily basis. So, really, your actions will reveal alignment with your spoken priorities. And either that or they'll show a significant gap between the two. And, again, last week we talked about, setting goals, course correction, and and then there's this reality of, again, holding ourselves accountable and being honest with ourselves. I think the humans are the kings and queens of lying to ourselves. I mean, we can convince ourselves almost anything. So it's quite an exercise to have, somebody evaluate you, your business, your job, whatever it may be. But it is a valuable exercise, and even though we may not end up hearing what we want to hear in the end, I think that unbiased feedback can be very valuable in helping us you know, we're trying to make those course corrections. And by the way, in my What's Up Wednesday last week, the movie with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore was 51st Dates. I felt dumb. There was also a movie Groundhog Day. So, you know, those were the examples that I used of getting up each day, starting anew and trying things differently instead of doing things the exact same way over and over again and expecting a different outcome. We all know that doing things the same way and expecting a different outcome, well, that's ludicrous. So anyways, hopefully that's helpful, and we'll see you next Wednesday.